Here is a Nissan Murano. Before we get started though, let me give a quick shout out to Naya Motors Inc. for letting us use the car today to film the videos. They are a used car dealer here in Ottawa, Canada. Check out the link in description for their entire inventory. Now let's go ahead and get started. Open up the driver's side door. Right over there at the bottom you'll find the primary hood release lever. Pull it. Now in front of the vehicle, right on top of the Nissan emblem there, on the left edge, put one finger in there and then push it left. So push it left and at the same time lift up the hood. The hood stays in place, being supported by those two struts over there.
Now what happens is when the engine is running, it just produces heat, right? It's burning fuel, so it gets hot. Now you want the engine to be warm, but you don't want it to overheat, because if it overheats, then it just causes all sorts of problems, so you don't want any of that to happen. Now that's where the coolant comes in, because what the coolant does is the coolant circulates within the engine, it collects all the heat, and now the hot coolant, it goes to the radiator, it cools off, and comes back in, collects more heat, goes back to the radiator, cools off, comes back in. The cycle keeps on repeating again and again. However, in this whole system, what you need is an expansion tank, because the coolant itself, as it heats up, it's going to expand. And as the name suggests, you need an expansion tank where the extra coolant can sort of just go temporarily, and then it can come back to the main cooling system. And that's what you need an expansion tank for.
Now that right there is your radiator pressure cap. You don't have to open it, and definitely don't ever even try to open it when it's hot, because there's pressurized hot coolant over there that's just going to spray out and cause injuries. So just don't worry about that. Instead just use it to follow that overflow line, and that is how we are going to locate the coolant reservoir right over there. To get an idea of the fluid level, just look at it on the side. There are two markings. Yep, right over there. Maximum and minimum, the fluid level should be between that. And always check when the engine is cold, because as the engine heats up, overflow coolant is going to come into it, and that coolant is going to be hot, which means it's going to be expanded, and that basically it will just give you a wrong reading, and you don't want that. So always check when the engine is cold. If you have to top off coolant, get one of this 50-50 mix, which is ready to use. You don't have to add any water, any diluted water, nothing. You can just use it the way it is. So Preston is a good brand. And if you do have to refill coolant, that's the cap. Just twist it left and take it off. That's where the coolant goes in. Once you're done filling up the coolant, just put the cap back on, twist it right, and that is pretty much it. To close the hood, simply lower it and then slam it shut. Hope you found it useful.